right, we are on. Welcome back to yet another Earnings Lottos Power Hour Live. I'm your host, Pete. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, the year of our Lord, 2026. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching with me. Please remember to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Let's go, X Project Group. We have a heck of a show for you today, folks, because we have a lot of names to go over. That's why I tried to get on a little earlier today. We'll try to get through all of them. X Project Group, since you are the man with the plan, please throw in tickers that I don't talk about. I appreciate it. You always have some really good ones in mind. I think X Project Group threw out STRL in the chat yesterday, and that thing went wild. So props to you for that. DOCN was another big one this morning. So Duolingo unfortunately chopped, but yes, we've had a lot of really good moves this quarter, and I expect there will definitely be more. So without further ado, let's get into the names that we have for today. So yeah, like we said, some really good moves this morning. DigitalOcean made a 37% up move, which is crazy. We saw a ton of volume liquidity in the 127s. I didn't really see, I mean, maybe there was some in the 150s and up, but the 127 I thought was too far away, and that thing definitely hit. So if you took DOCN off of the stream yesterday, pat yourself on the back. Very, very, very amazing, great trade. Also STRL. So really, two really good big moves this morning. Not a lot of others that kind of stand out to me from this morning. I guess Shopify took a little bit of a hit. So if you had puts there, you were probably happy this morning. And then this one's crazy. Is this real? 40% down? Bell Ring Brands, BRBR. That's wild. Oh, they make Dymatize. That's the worst tasting protein of all time. So yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy. Look at that. From 17 to 10 this morning. Sheesh. So yeah, if you were in any of those trades, they were all on earnings lottos yesterday. They all had strangles suggested for them. So congrats if you took any of those and made money this morning. We'll start off with one this afternoon that I don't know too much about, and unfortunately we don't have a narrative for it, but it is a semiconductor type play. I've been trying to do a little research on it today just to get a good grasp, but technically at least we have the numbers for that. So Atom is our first one for today. Very cheap stock, almost $11 a share, so maybe like a $1, $2-ish move, who knows, if it does hit a 10% move. It has a nice expected move. Really nice EL score, and as you can see, a great history of moves over 10%. So 7 out of the last 8 quarters, it makes a good 10% move. The strangles for Atom are kind of weird, so that's why I was kind of trying to look into it a little earlier, but it might just be too cheap for us to play anyways. The 15 calls popping up, that's almost 40% out of the money up. I think that's too far away, although it does have a 35% expected move. And the 750p is popping up. This is definitely one that you want to strangle, skew to one side. It looks like maybe the calls are a little stronger. I would probably fade this one unless you know something about it that I don't. If someone does and you know and you want to tell the rest of the class, please let us know in the chat. I think this one is a fade. I'm really curious as to what this looks like tomorrow. But there's a slight chance that this pops and goes crazy. So interesting to see that the 15 call for Atom is popping up. But I think there are other plays today that we can focus on. I do kind of like that one is interesting though. We might look at that a little later in Unusual Whales. Centrus we'll look at next. This is one of the top EL scores of the week. They are a nuclear fuel and service kind of company in the nuclear power industry. They do touch some data center stuff. So they are a little data center adjacent. $200 a share price here. Great EL score, 92. 6 out of 8 quarters, it's making a 10% move up or down, so all pretty good stuff. Technically, looks like year-over-year growth is maybe 4.5% estimated. They're involved in domestic uranium enrichment here. High assay, am I saying that right? High assay, low enriched uranium for advanced reactors. AI data center, nuclear power demand, and U.S. domestic enrichment versus Russian supply dependence are the structural tailwinds here. It's beat 2 out of the last 4 quarters. Typically, it moves about 5%, but as you can see, 6 quarters in the last 2 years, it is doing a 10% up or down move. Strangles for LEU, we have the 250 call popping up. I wish there was more volume on this strike, but I don't hate it. I think it's a little too far out of the money. That being said, if the 250 is $3, then the 220, which is that 10% move, That's probably a lot more. That's probably maybe double that price. So this might be a pay to play stock. I think that's the case with a lot of names this week. I think you're going to have to pay up to get closer to the money. But yeah, from what I'm seeing right here, the 250 looks bought. The 130 is probably sold. That's too far out of the money down. The contract is too cheap and there's not a ton of volume. So probably sold position on the 130 or just like very ambitious puts. But I would lean to the call side here for LEU. Although nothing is really standing out to me to tell me I should get in or I should jump in. So LEU probably call side, but I don't know if it has a full 250 move in it. A-Lab we'll look at next. So big semiconductor-based connectivity solution type company. Really good historical earnings moves. So as you can see, 5 quarters out of the last 8, we're doing a 10% move up or down with A-Lab. $220 a share, so maybe like a $22 move up or down. Really nice EL score, 83. This chart is interesting. I wonder if we double top somewhere, maybe if it goes higher here on the left or if it breaks through. Kind of, well, not really reminiscent of DOCN, but almost a little bit. They make PCIe retimers. I have no idea. Silicon. It is the silicon that connects GPUs to memory and storage and AI servers. So already it seems pretty valuable or necessary in that whole process. AI connectivity, PCIe, yep, smart cables, GPU interconnect, okay. AI server connectivity silicon, already 7.5%, typically moves 10 to 15%. So good to know. Oh, yeah, it is already up 9% today. Something to keep in mind. Call that we have, or the strangle that we have for A-Lab, so the call popping up is the 257.50 call, about 20% out of the money up. 360 was the last contract traded there. Volume exceeding open interest. These look bought to me, although they are a little bit more out of the money than I would want myself. On the put side, 187.50p, 14% out of the money down. Also a nice contract price to kind of imply that they're probably bought, but not a ton of volume on this one strike. Probably both sides are bought straight up. I would do a straight up strangle here on A-Lab if I wanted to trade it. We might look at this in unusual whales, but I would say lean to the call side on A-Lab. Not sure if it has this full 17% move in it though. So again, one of the weeks that we're gonna have to pay to play, I think. You're gonna have to pay up. Mercury Systems, commercial technology company serving the aerospace and defense industry. They envision, create, and deliver secure, open architecture solutions powering a broad range of mission-critical applications in challenging and demanding environments. All that sounds pretty good. $79 a share here, almost $80, so almost an $8 move if it does hit 10%. Nice EL score, 73. 5 quarters out of the last 8, we're making a 10% move on Mercury or Mercy. It's narrative intel, we have a sleeper here. It looks like not the best fundamentals estimated, kind of in line. They make secure defense electronics, radar, electronic warfare, and mission computing. Iran war defense urgency is the structural tailwind here. Doge defense cuts are the risk. I don't think Doge did anything, so I'm not sure if that factors in at all. Defense electronics, Iran war urgency versus Doge risk, revenue flat year over year, beat history poor, typically moves almost 5%. That doesn't sound good. A lot of that sounded bearish to me. But there might not be enough volume on these strikes anyways to get us to go in. I traded Mercury 1 quarter and it was pretty good to me, but I'm not quite sure if I would jump in at this quarter, just based on this picture here alone. 82.50 popping up, very close to the money, nice pricey contract, probably bought, but there's not a ton of volume on it. Same kind of thing with the 75p, not more than 10% out of the money down. Both of them are monthly expiration, which is nice. You have about a week to work with, a week extra at least. And contract price implies that they're bought, but I don't like this. Not a lot of volume. Maybe we'll look at it a little later, but right now it's looking like a fade. Onto innovation is our next one. Engaged in the design, development, manufacturing, and support of high-performance control, metrology, defect inspection, lithography, and data analysis systems used by microelectronics device manufacturers. That is one heck of a sentence. That's the craziest. One of the most comprehensive sentences I've read so far doing the stream. All right, so yeah, they are definitely in a tech company involved in microelectronics device manufacturing. $305 a share for Onto, so we're looking at like a $31 move in either direction. If it does hit 10%, nice EL score, implying that it may hit 10%. 4 quarters out of the last 8, it's doing that 10% move up or down, which is nice. Looks like fundamentals estimated are pretty decent. Year-over-year growth, maybe like an 8.5% lift year-over-year. They make optical metrology equipment for semiconductor fabs. Advanced packaging inspection, interesting. And yeah, packaging inspection, KLA Corp confirmed wafer demand this week. I know that the W in WFE stands for wafer. I don't know what FE stands for. HBM stacking for AI GPUs drives onto nearing the 52-week high. Typically moves maybe almost 10%. So maybe we have a similar situation as to Onto. I'm not quite, or not Onto, DOCN, where it was nearing a 52-week high and it blasted through that. And yep, strangles look like that might be the case. So look at this. So the volume, volume and open interest numbers, this has been the theme. This is exactly what we saw in DOCN for the call side. Huge volume number, very small open interest number. It is a pricey contract. This 320 call, very pricey. Look at the last price traded was 14 bucks. So you're gonna have to pay to play for Onto, but this looks pretty good to me. I would say this looks like a really nice bullish strangle. The 290 is also pricey, coming in at 1080 last contract traded. Volume nowhere near to open interest though, so likely a lot of the 290s are bought just as hedges. And I think that makes sense on a EL score stock over 60 or over 50. I think you want to strangle that. But I think the call side looks better here. It's also looking like traders are not expecting Onto to hit a 10% move. So something to keep in mind. But Onto, close to the money call, looks good, although it's a little pricey. But like we said, you're going to have to pay to play this week. Teradata, TDC, focused on helping organizations improve business performance, enrich customer experiences, and integrate data across the enterprise. That sounds really great. Harmonized data, trusted AI, blah, blah, blah. They have a bunch of other products to help them kind of accomplish all of that. The company generates majority of revenue from the United States. $30 a share price here for TDC. EL score 69, nice. 10% expected move. 6 out of 8 quarters we're making a 10% move up or down. That's nice. Although keep in mind, a 10% move off of 30 bucks is $3. Narrative Intel, not great. Getting a caution sign. 2% year-over-year estimated growth, potentially. Enterprise Cloud Data Warehouse, Vantage Platform and Analytics. Cloud migration is the re-rate narrative here. We've beat 2 out of the last 4 quarters. Cloud migration and AI analytics demand, revenue 2% year over year, beat 2 for 4 typically. Okay, so not a ton of kind of cool narrative intel there for TDC. Strangle popping up for TDC, the 3250 call, 7% out of the money up, ton of volume. Actually, the volume is not exceeding open interest, although that is a lot. 4,000 contracts versus 4,800 that were waiting there before today. So interesting to see. These could go either way. They could be bought, they could be sold. We might look into this a little later. Hopefully we have enough time. I'm going to go fast. 2750p looks much stronger, but this contract price could go either way too. It could be bought or sold, but I like the fact that this volume is dwarfing the OI on the put. So if I had to pick a side, I'd say TDC put side, 2750 if this is bought. That looks pretty decent. And I think you should definitely strangle TDC because we have a score of higher than 50, but I do like the puts there, TDC. Upstart, we'll look at this really quick. We don't have any narrative intel for Upstart, but I think everyone knows Upstart except for that one analyst on CNBC a few years ago that had no idea what they do, but they provide a proprietary cloud-based artificial intelligence lending platform. So loans and lending kind of stuff with Upstart, more financial than tech. A little different than a firm, I would say. 3182 share price, so maybe a 3 or 350 move in either direction if it hits 10%. EL score 68, which is good. 5 quarters out of the last 8, we're making a nice 10% move with Upstart. Strangle for Upstart looks choppy. Both of these look sold to me. The 40 call is too far out of the money up. Nice and cheap, implying that they're probably sold. And same thing likely with the 25p, 21% out of the money down. Both of these expiring on Friday, so theta is going to hurt a little bit more tomorrow morning than it would on like a May 15th contract. Volume on the 25p is nowhere near the open interest, so yeah, I would say both of these look sold. I think Upstart looks like a choppy move. Transmedics we'll look at. TMDX, one of the healthcare stocks this week, commercial stage medical technology company transforming organ transplant therapy for end-stage organ failure patients across multiple disease states. Interesting. So they are more focused on organ transplant stuff. $95 a share for TMDX, 67 EL score. Nice expected move over 10%. Half the time we're making a 10% move with TMDX. So all of that sounds pretty cool. Chart is looking like maybe close to a double bottom, or maybe we fall through. This is just a 90-day chart though, keep in mind. Narrative Intel looks pretty good though for TMDX, 22% lift year over year estimated. They make the organ care system. They keep donor organs alive at body temperature during transport, dramatically increasing transplant viability. Oh, so this is a little different than what was that movie? Was it Euro Trip or Road Trip? Remember when like the guy is transporting the heart in the little cooler, so maybe they don't have to keep things cold anymore. It's nice to know. It's a weird little story, but that is weird. That is interesting. They keep donor organs alive at body temperature during transport. So instead of freezing the organs like we kind of historically think, they're going to keep them at body temperature. So that's very, very new and very seems kind of cool. Strangle for TMDX, we got the 110 call, 14% out of the money up. Nice price contract, 280, probably bought. Volume almost the same as open interest. I mean, 700 contracts off, but those are nice numbers there. 90p, a little pricier per contract, so 450 per contract. Not a lot of volume compared to the OI for the 90p, but I think the call side looks a little stronger. They're probably hedging with the 90p. I think that makes sense. I think it's okay to strangle TMDX because the yield score is over 50. But if I had to guess or pick a side, I guess I would pick the 110. I guess I'd pick call side. Although I don't know if 110 will hit. Maybe 105 is safer. Ouster, we'll look at this really quick because it has a good history of beats, or not beats, but 10% moves. 28, almost $30 a share here for Ouster. They provide LiDAR sensors for automotive, industrial, and robotic industry. 5 out of the last 8 quarters are making 10% move here. Narrative Intel is not great, although it looks like pretty good year-over-year growth is estimated. Autonomous vehicles and robotics demand is the re-rate narrative here with Ouster. LiDAR sensor, autonomous vehicle, and robotics demand revenue is really nice year-over-year. Has a really small float, so that could potentially equal violent moves. Strangle for Ouster actually looks really good. This looks like something we might have to get. Look at the 30 call. Volume is exceeding open interest by almost double. This contract price looks bought to me. No more than 5% out of the money. I like the 30 call here. That looks bought. The 25p, not a ton of volume compared to the open interest number. The IV, keep an eye on these IV numbers. That is pretty high, but I think I would lean to the call side here with Ouster. The narrative intel is kind of scaring me away, but this 90-day chart kind of looks pretty bullish. So I don't hate the 30 call here with Ouster. That looks like one of the safer strangles that we've looked at today. One of the easier determinable strangles as being bullish. So I think Ouster, the calls look good. I like the 30 call. It's closer to the money. Looks decent to me. Let's look at SMCI. SMCI, everyone knows SMCI, semiconductor, high performance server tech services to cloud computing and data centers. So definitely data center adjacent. Almost $28 a share price with SMCI, maybe a $2 move in either direction, almost $3. 64 EL score, really nice history of moves. 6 out of 8 quarters, it's making a 10% move up or down. Narrative Intel is hot for SMCI. Looks like really good year-over-year growth is estimated. That's crazy, 168% year-over-year estimated growth. They make AI server racks, the physical infrastructure housing NVIDIA and AMD GPUs. Very useful. AI server rack infrastructure down 3.5% today into the print. Is it down 3.5%? Yeah, well, it looks like maybe a climb back up. Deeply off of the $62 high. Revenue 168% year-over-year. Accounting overhang is the risk. AMD, if AMD, ALab, or Arista Network beat tonight, would provide sympathy. Interesting. Typically moves 12 to 20%. Wow. Big moves for SMCI. Strangle for SMCI. 30 call popping up. 8% out of the money up. Very cheap contract. Could go either way. Could be bought or sold. 9,000. Lot of volume. A lot of open interest. 25p. Little cheaper than the call side. Lot of volume exceeding open interest. Both of these could be bought. I think that makes sense. I think with something like SMCI, you have to strangle it. Lean to one side. I think the... I'm just going to say the call side probably looks better. I don't know if it has a crazy big move in it. I wouldn't go more than $30, like no more than the 30 call. And if you like the call side, then get more contracts on the call side, but definitely make sure that you get something on the put side for sure, because SMCI has proven it moves 10% either way pretty often. So I like the call side with SMCI, but I would definitely strangle that. Dave, we'll look at Dave, financial services company. It's interesting because this is a company that sometimes pops up as financial, sometimes pops up as technology. I think historically it's been more financial, and they're trying to get to more of a tech. They're trying to get more into the tech sector. But just interesting that I've seen Dave kind of flip flop between financial and technology. Just interesting. 261 share price for Dave. Nice EL score, 63. Good history of moves over 10%. 4 out of the last 8 quarters. We're making a good move. Estimated really nice year-over-year growth, 35% year-over-year. Neobank fintech compounder beating 4 of the last 4 quarters. Extra cash and AI underrating re-rate. Revenue estimated 35% year-over-year. Typically moves to 10%. Nice. All that sounds really good with Dave. And then check out the strangle. Classic theme of the week. Dave looks like it wants to make a move. We have the 267.50 call, very close to the current share price, $12 a contract. Volume absolutely dwarfing open interest. 470 contracts bought and sold today versus 5 that were on the chain prior. And then on the downside, 235p, almost 10% out of the money down. $6 last contract traded here. Look, there was no open interest prior to this morning. 373 contracts bought and sold today. This is classic strangle land to me. I don't hate. I like the 267.50 because it's a little pricier and it's closer to the money. And I think if you do something like that, then it makes sense to strangle or hedge with a 235p. So I kind of like this. We'll look at unusual whales. We'll look at Dave and unusual whales. The contracts are definitely going to be pricey in Dave, so keep that in mind. Look at the IV on both of these, over 150% comfortably. But I would say go to the call side with Dave and definitely strangle with a put somewhere. SSRM, we'll look at minerals company focusing on mining precious metals. $28 a share price with SSRM. Nice EL score. Good history of moves. 5 out of the last 8 quarters making a 10% move. They are a gold and silver miner recovering from the 2024 Kupler mine disaster. Oh, sounds like it was probably bad. Turkey operations. Gold at all-time highs is the commodity tailwind. Iran war safe haven precious metal demand. Beat 2 out of the last 4 quarters. Gold miner recovery. Gold all-time highs in Iran war safe haven. Okay, so interesting. But nothing really popping up here for the strangle for SSRM. And I don't like trading any gold miners, anything like that, basic materials stock. So I'd say fade this. Both of these look too far out of the money and too cheap as far as contract prices go. Let's look at Celanese, SCE next, one of the world's largest producers of acetic acid and its downstream derivative chemicals. Interesting, including coatings and adhesives. The company is also one of the largest producers of specialty polymers, which are used in the automotive, electronics, medical, building, and consumer end markets. All right, interesting. $69 a share, almost $70 a share, maybe a $7 move up or down. Nice EL score. Good history of moves over 10%, 4 quarters out of the last 8. Not the best year-over-year estimated growth, it looks like. Maybe 5.5% negative year-over-year estimated. Tariff automotive supply chain read here. Beat 2 out of the last 4 quarters. Strangle for CE, the 75 call popping up. Nice contract price. They're probably bought. A lot of the 75 call are probably bought at this 250 range. I wish the volume was larger than the open interest. These could just be average downs because 3,000 is almost about half of 72. But I guess I would lean to the call side here with CE. The 60p is too far out of the money down. Both of these are monthlies, which is nice. Gives you about a week and a half to work with. The $110 price range here with the 60p kind of tells me that they're probably sold. Not a ton of volume though. I think CE is probably a safe fade. But if you had conviction on it before hanging out and watching the stream, then I think the call side looks a little stronger. I think you do need to strangle it though, just in case, because it is a score over 50. NVTS, let's look at this one really quick. Navita Semiconductor, ultra efficient gallium nitride semiconductors. Kind of a newish semiconductor play or company. 1788 a share price, nice EL score, good history of moves over 10%. Not the best, not the best year over year growth estimated. Looks like negative 42% estimated year over year. Inventory digestion period ending here. Revenue is not great year over year. Thin options, not a ton of liquidity it seems like here, but this is interesting. So the 18 call getting a ton of attention or interest, volume way exceeding open interest here, 4,000 to 2,000. Contract price last traded $1.34. Could go either way. Could be bought or sold, but I'd say they're probably bought. 15p getting some attention, 16% out of the money down. Kind of a cheaper contract, 36 cents. A lot of volume over open interest again here. Hard to tell. I would lean to the call side, the 18 call, and I think the 15 is probably sold. Probably a mixture of bought and sold, but majority of this strike is probably sold. So NVTS I think is looking up. Let's see, Growl. Do we want to look at Growl? Let me check out X Project Groups list. Prim, ECG Pod, TLN Flex. I don't know if I have Prim or ECG. They probably had thin liquidity at the time. TLN do we have? I don't know. I guess I do somewhere. Let's look at Talon. TLN, Talon Energy Corp, independent power producer and energy infrastructure company, owns and operates several gigawatts of power infrastructure in the United States. Nuclear power, interesting. Okay, so LEU adjacent potentially. 385 contract price or 385 share price here for Talon. 35 EL score, not really great. No 10% moves in its history of, or at least 2 years of earnings reports. Hot narrative intel though, well, really great. Looks like fundamentals estimated year over year, 164% growth. Nuclear power generator, they own Susquehanna Nuclear Power Plant in Pennsylvania. Interesting. Amazon AWS power purchase agreement for AI data center. Baseload is the re-rate catalyst here. Nuclear power AI data center PPI. Amazon, yeah, AWS deal confirmed. Nuclear down from 451 a high at 351. Revenue really nice year over year. That sounds all nice and good to me. 455 call getting the look here on the strangle. Too cheap a contract, too far out of the money. Volume does exceed open interest, but these are probably sold. I'm going to say that apprehensively, but yeah, probably sold. 360p, much closer to the current share price. Volume does slightly exceed open interest there. More expensive contracts. I think just in this snapshot alone, Talon looks down. If you already had conviction in it though, disregard everything I just said, but 360p looks like the stronger contract, at least in this image to me. I think we are going to look at JCI. Talon has the Amazon deal. Yeah, Talon has the AWS Amazon deal, which is interesting. ANet, yeah, we'll definitely look at all that stuff. Where I forgot where I was at. So we were looking at Talon. Anything else for this afternoon that we want to look at? Hinge Health, that kind of stands out to me a little bit. This one doesn't actually have, well, look at this one in Unusual Whales because it doesn't have a full 2 years of reporting yet, but every quarter it's reported in the last 3, it's made a 10% move. So really this number should be 3 for 3 here. $51 a share for Hinge, one of the healthcare stocks this week. 49 EL score right at that line. Team, just to give you a context, Team was also a 49 EL score last week. Estimated 39 cents, no revenue comparison. Yeah, it's kind of a newer company. Digital musculoskeletal therapy. Digital musculoskeletal therapy. I'm just gonna stop. MSK therapy, first earnings, digital blah, blah, blah. Employer adoption rate typically moves 10 to 20%. I like Hinge this week just because of the history of moves. 60 calls getting attention, kind of cheap. Volume exceeding open interest. This is the classic view that we've seen all week and kind of last week. So whenever we see a big volume number and a small open interest number, that should pique your interest. You should move that stock to the top of your list. IMO. But yeah, 60 calls looking sold to me. The 50p is probably looking bought. 68 volume over 0 open interest. I want to look at Hinge in Unusual Whales a little later, but that looks down to me right off the rip. Anything else we want to look at this afternoon? Anything? Yeah, it is a tongue twister. Everything in the, well, not a lot, not everything, but a lot in these narrative intels will kind of throw me for a loop sometimes. Let's look at MicroStrategy or strategy. If you want to know something about strategy, so obviously you know that, and I don't know if anyone knows, if a lot of people know this, but this is one of the worst. I mean, people might know this, but so they rebranded as Strategy Inc. When was it, like a year and a half ago? Their headquarters in Virginia, Tyson's Corner, Virginia, still has MicroStrategy across the top of the building. If you rebrand, if I'm a CEO of a company and I rebrand, I want a new logo up right away. So that's just really weird to me how like they're still going. They're like Twitter to me. Like, are they X? Are they Twitter? Is it X? Who knows? Like, I don't like this company at all, and I don't like the CEO. But anyways, Bitcoin Treasury Company, provider of business intelligence services. Yeah, blah blah. They buy Bitcoin. It's Michael Saylor. 187 a share price. Not the best EL score. Not even the best history of moves over 10%. This is a Bitcoin heavy week. We have Strategy, we have Cypher, we have Coinbase. There's a couple others. So definitely a Bitcoin heavy and centric week. I don't think people have been thinking about Bitcoin lately. I think more of the focus has been on data centers. So something to keep in mind, back of your head. Narrative Intel, not great for MicroStrategy. They hold 570,000 Bitcoin on balance sheet, the largest corporate BTC holder. That's absurd. Leverage Bitcoin Treasury, blah, blah, blah. Quarterly Bitcoin gain loss is the headline number. So it's all going to be hinged on Bitcoin price here for Strategy. 200 call getting a lot of attention, though. I was bearish before looking at the strangle. Now I'm bullish. 200 call, 6% out of the money up. Nice contract price. These are probably bought. Ton of volume, 12,500 contracts versus 7,600 on the chain. I would say that's probably the safer side there. 170p getting attention, almost 9.5% out of the money down. Both of them expiring on Friday. $1.32 last contract there. Probably mix of bought and sold, but volume is nowhere near to exceeding open interest. I like the call side for MSTR. I hate saying that, but I like the call side. I like that 200 call. Anything else for today? Anything else? Can you guys throw X Project Group? Did I miss anything that reports this afternoon? When's Johnson? Johnson is, I think JCI is tomorrow morning, right? AMD, we didn't talk about AMD. I guess we'll talk about AMD. Everyone knows AMD, big semiconductor company here, PCs, gaming consoles, also data center adjacent. $356 a share for AMD. Not the best EO score and also not the best history of moves over 10%. I feel like you probably could have guessed that without even knowing that information though. Narrative Intel is good for AMD, 32% year-over-year estimated growth. They make a lot of AI GPU competition, competing with NVIDIA for data center inference. AI GPU demand confirmation. Revenue of this product they have, the MI300X, is the number that matters here. They got a price target raise today from Susquehanna. Hyperscaler CapEx confirmed this week. Okay, all sounds pretty good. All sounds pretty good, fundamentally bullish to me. 400 call getting attention, 335 last price traded. Volume dwarfing open interest, 20,000 to 10,000 about. I like that. Looks bought to me. 300p cheaper per contract price. Volume still exceeding open interest here. This is looking like a tug of war, but I would lean to the call side. I like that it's more expensive. I like that it's somewhat closer to the current share price, but I think AMD is a fade for today. I don't like trading it anyways on earnings, but I think it's going to be way too crowded this quarter, and nothing here is standing out to me. Like if the call side was much closer to the current share price, then I would say definitely hammer the calls, but nothing, at least in this image right here, is kind of standing out to me. So I think AMD is a nice fade. I guess I would lean to the call side though. Do we already look at Prim? I don't have Prim on this list, but let's do this. Let's look at it. I'll just show you guys my my thought process when I do this stuff. So Prim, 1, 2, 3. We got 3 moves out of 8 for Prim. That probably gives it an EL score of like 40. Let's look at something here. We got monthlies with Prim. We're close to the end of the strikes on the call side. About 40K on the 230 call there. Mix of bought and sold. 210 calls, got a ton of volume. That's 100K on the ask right there. So the call side is looking strong for Prim. Any in the money puts. 25K on the bid here, that's being sold. 11K on the ask. Prim is looking up. I would say play as close to the money as you can. I think the 230 might work, but there is a mix of bought and sold there. Luckily, you got May 15th expiration. But yeah, I can pretty safely say Prim looks up. I'm just not quite sure if it has this 230 move in it, because that would be more than a 10% move, right? 10% off of 200 is 20 bucks. So if I were playing Prim, I would go the 220 call. I don't think you have to strangle it because it only has 3 moves out of 8. But if you do want to strangle it, then I think you can do it with the not 170 because that's all sold. But yeah, I think I like the 220 there. If you can pay up for the 210, get that. But yeah, Prim looks up to me. It looks like maybe they're using the 185p to hedge. But yeah, I like Prim, that 220 call, 230 call. 230 may work. I like the 220 a little bit better, obviously. Not really seeing, there is some in the money sells. Look at this. We got a big one here. 385k on the bid with the 180 call. But I think I would say, I'm going to hesitantly, apprehensively say the 220 call looks okay. I wish there was more volume on it, but 52k is a pretty good. Those are nice, chunky ask orders. If you can get the 210, get the 210. 210 looks safer. I'm probably going to fade that, though. I don't have a lot of conviction on that myself. Lots of names are worth trading other than name. All right, Prim, anything else for this afternoon? X Project Group, you got anything for me to look at? ANET, should we look at ANET? That's a pretty popular one. Arista Networks, networking equipment provider. They sell Ethernet switches and software to data centers. $172 a share here. Not the best history of moves over 10%, so not the best EL score. Really nice year-over-year estimated growth, 30% year-over-year estimated here. They make data center switches and routers, the networking layer connecting AI GPU clusters, all very valuable in that process. Enhanced upside from full week's confirmation cascade typically moves 8 to 12%. Strangle for ANET, 200 call. Looks sold to me for sure. 16% out of the money up. $1.05 last contract traded. Volume does exceed open interest by almost double, but I think these are probably sold. 160p, much more expensive. Look, $3 last price traded here. 1500 volume versus 635 open interest. I think the put side, at least in just this image, is looking stronger. But fundamentally, data centers and all that stuff has been very, very bullish thus far. So be careful if you're shorting a hot sector. CYTK, did I look at Flex? ECG, I don't think I have ECG. Low volume, potentially. Pod, don't have that. What was the other one? Yeah, I have CYTK. I got Cytokinetics. I don't have the logo for it. Late stage biopharm. So healthcare company. Muscle activators, next in class muscle inhibitors. $76 a share for CYTK. Pretty good EL score, almost 50. Not a great history of moves over 10% though, which is interesting. It must have to do with the expected move and then probably its float. So only one quarter it's making a 10% move up or down. Estimating really crazy, look at that, really crazy year-over-year growth. 348% year-over-year growth estimated makes this, whatever this product is, for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So something, heart failure, cardiac contractility. Commercial launches the re-rate. So they have a product that they're launching commercially. Revenue is really good. It's royalty distortion. Okay, cardiology week confirmed by multiple prints. Typically moves maybe 10%. Strangles for CYTK, the 85 call. Really nice volume over open interest. These are probably bought because the put side to me definitely looks sold. 22% out of the money down. Both of these are monthlies. I like the 85 call. That's nice. I mean, it's only made a 10% move once in 2 years. And the 85 call is right at that 10% line, but you have a week and a half to work with. So I don't hate that 85 call. I kind of like that. Yeah, maybe X Project Group. Maybe CYTK X Project. I agree with you. All right, I think that's all that I'm going to talk about this afternoon. Anything else we want to look at? MSTR we talked about. Jazz, do you want to look at Jazz? Maybe Jazz. EA, no. Light, we'll look at Light. There's a data center adjacency there. Company provides 2 types of optical and photonic products. Optical and photonic products are hot. They've been very, very hot this quarter. $10.12 a share price for Light. Nice and pricey stock. 11% expected move. 3 quarters out of the last 8, it's making 10% move up or down. 90-day chart looks crazy bullish. Year-over-year growth estimated 90% lift. Sounds really, really bullish. Fundamentally, they make optical components and transceivers for AI data centers. Sounds really nice. Optical components, AI connectivity, VIAV beat is the pre-confirmation signal. All right, yeah, VIAV did really, really well. What was that, last week or week before? It's all blending together. 1200 call getting attention. 19% out of the money up. Pretty expensive contract for being 19% out of the money. 800p getting attention on the downside. 20% out of the money. 380 last contract traded there. Volume exceeding open interest on either side. Really hard to say, but I would say the 1200 is bought. I would lean to the call side here. Everything fundamentally for light sounded really, really good. Not enough move history for me to jump in, but this 1200 call does sound good. If you have been all about trading the data center angles this quarter, light is one you want to look at because this 1200 call does look good, although it's pricey. Did I look at Flex? Did we look at Flex? Do I have Flex? I don't know if I have Flex. Is Flex this afternoon or is it tomorrow morning? It's tomorrow morning. All right, let's look at tomorrow morning stuff then, since we're there. Nothing else for this afternoon. Yeah, Oxy, no, all this stuff fade. Lucid, sorry, don't care. Joby, no, AMC trash. Suncor Energy is actually one of the Hall of Shame stocks. Anyways, okay, so that's enough for this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna skip Carter's. I have no idea what this is. Okay, they make Oshkosh, so it's like baby clothing and stuff. Sells the product through a multi-channel. Okay, $34 a share. Nice EL score. 5 quarters out of the last 8, making a 10% move. 90-day chart looking bearish. Not the best narrative intel. Reports tomorrow morning, blah, blah. Makes baby clothes. Direct China tariff exposure. Strangles, nothing sexy about it. So we're not going to look at CRI. TGTX, we'll look at really quick. I don't have a narrative intel for this one. Fully integrated commercial stage biotech company focused on the acquisition, development, and commercialization of novel treatments for B-cell diseases. Interesting. Healthcare, one of the healthcares this week, $36 a share price, nice EL score. 5 quarters out of the last 8, making a 10% move, which would be about 3-ish, 4-ish bucks here. Strangle for TGTX. Put side looks sold to me. 18% out of the money down. Pretty cheap per contract. Not a lot of volume on the 40 call, but I think TGTX is looking like a fade. Nothing here on the Strangle is jumping out to me personally. KD we'll look at next. Tech services and infrastructure services provider company, advisory implementation, blah, blah. We're going to have to go fast because I want to have more time to look at options chains today. 1470 contract price. 6 quarters out of the last 8, making a 10% move. That's a really good history. Inline year-over-year estimated growth. IT services, IBM spinoff turnaround. Did they spin off from IBM? Interesting. Deeply off $44 high at 14 bucks. Revenue's flat year over year, but turnaround is the narrative here. Typically moves 5 to 8%. And the Strangle for Kyndryl, 15 call definitely looks like the stronger side here. I wish there was more volume, but it is very, very close to the current share price. So that looks strong. The 123 could be bought or sold, but I'd say probably bought because they're at the money. And because the 11p is too cheap, it's too far out of the money down, so these are probably sold. But I think KD is a nice fade. Nothing on the Strangle, at least, is popping out to me. Nice. We'll look at, did CYTK report already? Did they report? When was, I don't think so, right? 5-5, is it this afternoon? I think it's this afternoon. I think they're this afternoon. I don't know. I'm going too fast and everything. So sorry if I misspoke. Nice an enterprise software company that serves customer engagement and financial crime and compliance markets. 124 share price, 60 EL score, 4 quarters out of the last 8, making a 10% move. 90-day chart could break through and go up. 8.5% year-over-year estimated growth. That sounds pretty good. AI contact center software as a service beat deeply off, $180 high at 101. Beat 3 out of the last 4 quarters. Revenue is about 9% year-over-year estimated growth. Typically moves 5 to 8%. Strangle for nice. The call side is looking like it's bought for sure. This is the theme for today, kind of very close to the money. Nice expensive contracts. And then selling the opposite side for sure. 85p, 32% out of the money down. Very cheap contract. Definitely sold on the 85p. So I think nice to the call side. Not sure if it gets a huge move though. Fubo, I hate this stock. Everyone knows Fubo TV. They live stream like sports and all that stuff. It's a streaming app. 1265 last contract traded. 58 EL score. 5 quarters out of the last 8 making a 10% move, but that's really not much because we're looking at maybe like $1.20-ish in either direction if it does. Not the best narrative intel for Fubo. Really, well, actually, sorry, we're getting the caution sign here, but it looks like 284% year-over-year growth estimated. Oh, but it's the Hulu Live merger distortion. So a little distortion there for the growth because of a merger with Hulu Live. So interesting. Merged with Hulu and Live TV Disney. That revenue reflects the merger distortion. So there you go. This could just be a complete fade, probably. This is crazy, though. Look at the 13 call. 13 call, 4% out of the money. Lots of volume to open interest. These are probably bought, even though it's a cheap contract, 70 cents. They're probably bought because it is close to the current share price and because the 750 or 750p is popping up. Very cheap contract, too far out of the money down, too ambitious. These are probably sold too, or these are probably sold. So I guess I like the call side with Fubo. I don't know. I don't think I'll trade it myself, but if you had conviction on the call side before, then hopefully this kind of reaffirmed your position. Esta. I keep on looking at this and it's making me think Spanish. Esta. Establishment Labs Holding is a medical technology company engaged in offering medical devices and aesthetic products, designing, manufacturing, marketing of silicone. Did you guys read that at the same time I did? They make breast implants. That's what Esta does. They make silicone-filled breast and body shaping implants. Yo, if you are a big fan of fake boobs, you want to go long on Esta. But $71 a share, $7 move in either direction if we hit 10%. Nice EL score. Pretty good history of moves over 10%, 4 out of the last 8 quarters. 38% year-over-year estimated growth. Makes Motiva breast implants, premium aesthetics in Brazil. Oh, they make Brazilian breast implants. Oh. Wow, they might have made the official BBL. Like, this could be the BBL company. Premium breast implant aesthetics. But yeah, we're getting the caution sign for narrative, so that throws me off a little bit. Motiva adoption revenue is nice year over year. 90 call, getting attention, 28% out of the money up, 30 cents last contract traded. That's too cheap. Ton of volume over open interest though. Ton. Probably, this is probably a lot of this is probably sold. 55p getting attention, pretty cheap per contract. I don't like how cheap these contracts are. The 90 call is kind of hard to tell what's going on here. It might be a mixture of bought and sold, but I don't know enough. The only thing I know about this company is they make boobs. So I think fade that, but that's good to know. I think this is the only company I can think of that makes BBLs in the market. I can't think of any other company that makes BBLs. So yeah, if there's anything you take from this stream, Esta is the BBL company. Only we know that. I haven't seen anyone else talking about that company. Shark Ninja is our next one. Shark Ninja, they make a lot of cool, like vacuum cleaner stuff. I guess they're getting into like fryers, hair dryers. Okay, whatever, yeah. Some more like domestic household electronics stuff maybe. 117 a share price for Shark Ninja. EL score just over 50. 3 quarters out of the last 8 making 10% move up or down. Narrative intel is interesting. We've got 12% year-over-year estimated growth here. They make Shark vacuums and Ninja kitchen appliance. Oh, they make Ninja. Well, I guess that makes sense. Shark Ninja. I'm literally looking at my Ninja blender right now. Consumer appliances, consumer appliance tariff mitigation and innovation pipeline off $133 high. Beat 3 out of the last 4 quarters. Revenue is pretty good. Strangle for Shark Ninja. We got the 125 call getting attention. Nice contract price. Not more than 7% out of the money up. Good volume over open interest. This looks bought to me. And then on the put side, the 110p, same kind of thing. 6% out of the money down. Nice contract price. Volume exceeds open interest. These are probably bought to me too. I kind of like this one. Like we might look at this in unusual whales because those strangles are good. They pop out to me. Doesn't have the best history of moves and doesn't have the best EL score, but something about that is interesting to me. NRG, let's look at really quick. I'm going to stop at 345. I'm going to stop looking at stuff on the deep dive, and we're going to switch over to unusual whales. And then I also figured out how to show contract charts, so we'll also do that potentially too. NRG, 100, almost 160 bucks a share. EL score just under 50. Decent history of moves, 3 out of 8. Nice narrative intel, 26% year-over-year estimated growth. Power generation, AI Texas demand. Oh yeah, they do NRG. That's the Texans stadium, right? NRG, 175. Yep, 175. Call popping up for the strangle on the long side. 11.5% out of the money up. Too cheap. That looks sold. Volume and open interest, though, fitting our theme this week. The 152.50, close to the current share price, $3 last contract traded. Volume, 183 contracts to 12 on the open interest or on the chain prior to today. So this, again, theme of this quarter tells us urgency, or not urgency, but it tells us immediacy, tells us that traders that trade NRG were waiting for today to buy the 152.50 for a reason. So I think the puts look good for NRG. I don't think you have to strangle it. Not gonna look at PHG, X Project Group. Throw out something for me if there's something for tomorrow morning. But I don't. Maybe Solar Edge. No, I don't want to talk about that. Holly Cart, Instacart, maybe. Instacart. Everyone knows Instacart. $44 a share price. EL score just under 50. Decent history of 10% moves. Narrative intel is not bad. Sleeper re-rate. Carrot ads, advertising re-rate. Shopify confirmed e-commerce demand. Shopify went down though. 3 out of the last 4 quarters we've gotten a beat fundamentally. Strangle for Instacart. Theme of the week. Theme of this quarter. Volume dwarfing open interest. 46.50 call. $1.05 last contract here. A lot of volume. Very small open interest number. Same kind of thing for the put side. 42p popping up. Almost about the same contract price. Volume dwarfing open interest, $12.95 to $87. Instacart is looking like a play of some sort. I don't know. I mean, this 90-day chart kind of looks bullish to me. Maybe a double top, recent double top from 420 or April 20th. But I'm liking these looks. I really like the looks of a lot of volume and small open interest. So whenever I'm seeing a big volume number and small open interest number, it's kind of telling me that I think I need to look closer into that stock. Let's look at Groupon. Where is Groupon? Oh yeah, Johnson's. Look at JCI. Dude, there are so many bees outside my window. I keep on hearing them bump into the window. It's crazy. JCI, residential and light commercial HVAC business. So they're heavily involved in data center stuff. $144 a share price. Not the greatest EL score, not the greatest history of moves over 10%, only 1 quarter here. They have pretty good year-over-year estimated growth, nice hot narrative intel, nearing the 52-week high, so we're getting kind of a similar situation as DOCN. Do we double top or do we bust through? They make building automation and HVAC control systems, the intelligence layer that controls blah, 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 equipment inside buildings and data centers. Data center building automation intelligence controls the HVAC cooling systems, blah, 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 fix installs. Strangle for JCI, 160 call, very cheap, 10% out of the money. That's kind of interesting. I kind of felt like this would be a little bit more juiced. So weird that it's not. 135p, closer to the current share price. As a result, a little pricier per contract, but not crazy. Volume definitely exceeding open interest by about 200 contracts there. I guess I would lean to the downside. I'm kind of getting this weird read from a lot of these data center stocks today, where like the narrative intel is hot, the fundamentals seem really bullish, and then we look at the strangle, and the strangle is making me think puts. So I'm kind of experiencing that at least 3 or 4 times looking at these stocks this afternoon. But I guess I would say just because based on this image, I would lean to the downside JCI. But I think I don't think you need to strangle it because it's only got 1 move. That being said, if you do buy put, just know you're kind of going against the narrative fundamentally because all of this narrative intel is very bullish and hot. X Project Group, Pod, EMR, JCI, MDGL, Insta as a pop, Centrus Energy. Oh yeah, LEU. We looked at LEU earlier, I think. Anything else for tomorrow morning? Because I want to look at some strangles. Disney, no, poop. Oscar Health, probably poop. Flex. Yeah, let's look at Flex really quick. I think you mentioned Flex. Wait, did we look at this? See what this is what happens all over the place. Flex, 95 bucks a share. One move out of the last 8 quarters doing a 10%. Really nice 90-day chart. Looks very bullish. 8% year-over-year estimated growth. EMS confirmation. All confirmed AI server manufacturing demand this week. Already 3%. Blah, blah. Strangle for Flex. 110 call. Lot of volume over open interest. 2,400 contracts versus 251. Almost 15% out of the money up, though. You do have monthly expiration, so you got about a week and a half to work with it. And on the put side, see, again, this is the theme. Like, all of the fundamentals seem very bullish and hot, and then I look at the strangles, and the strangles look like traders are at least spending more on the downside. Gee, I think there's a killer hornet. 90p, 6.5% out of the money. Nice priced. Tons of volume over open interest. Flex is looking down. I like the puts there for Flex. QSR fade, all this fade, in mode fade, vertical aerospace, nope, don't care. Novo Nordisk, Ozempic, I don't care. Kraft Heinz, ketchup, cheese, I don't care. Recursion, pharmaceuticals, I don't care. CVE, nope, don't care. Trinity, don't know what that is. Exelon, don't know what that is, don't care. Gurn, funny stock name, don't care. All right, is that it? Is that it for this afternoon? Can we start looking at some unusual whale stuff? Let's look at LEU. Can't spend too much time on these individually because I might want to trade something. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, like maybe Pete wants to place a trade today. Who knows? What were we finding for the LEU? We're going to go really fast. 250 and 130, 250. Oh, yeah, this is the weird one. 250 call does look stronger here. The 250 is kind of a mix of bought and sold. Looks like more of it is bought though, at least historically. 817. Yeah, I mean there are some pretty. Oh, that's nothing. That's 5,000. Okay, so 250 is looking nice and bought. The 130p is probably sold because that's way too far to the money down. Yeah, 130 is definitely sold here for LEU. Anything else getting attention in the call? Any in the money call stuff? 150 call. This is being sold. But it could be this person from yesterday who got 20 contracts. They bought them at the ask for 114K. Here's right here. And then coincidentally enough, 20 contracts hit the bid today for 109,000. So maybe this guy lost 5,000 just like that, and just decided to get out. I don't know. Or these are two different trades. I would say these are probably the same trade. Seems like someone that bought the call, the LEU 150 call yesterday, and then was like, nah, I changed my mind. And they took a 5K loss and got out. Kind of interesting, a little weird. So that looks messy. That looks noisy to me. I wouldn't really look at the 150 call that much. But, oh man, I don't know. Like nothing is really standing out to me. I will say for what it's worth, there is not a lot of in the money put stuff with LEU. There is some, like this from 416, 195K on the ask. I don't know. Nothing is really popping out to me in LEU. And I don't want to, there's so many names today that we don't really have to force it. So I would say LEU, I'm going to fade that. A-Lab, let's look at really quick. A-Lab. Centrist Energy, LEU. Yeah, so yeah, LEU, I don't know. I'm not really, if nothing stands out to me right away, then I'm just gonna move on because there are so many opportunities today and tomorrow morning that it doesn't make sense for us to spend too much time on just one individual name. A-Lab strikes 257 and 187. Let's look at the 187.50 first. That's all sold. Yep, that is looking sold definitely. And then the call 257. 257 is looking bought. Let's look at this contract chart. Here, hold on 1 second. Check this out. What was it? It was A-Lab. What was it? The 257.50 call. Check this out. How cool is this? That looks good. That looks okay to me. I probably won't trade it myself, but not bad. I think A-Lab to the call side for sure. I'm not really seeing any big in the money put orders. And the 257.50 I think is what you would want to get. I think it's a little too far out of the money up. I'm not going to trade A-Lab, but I think the call side looks good there. Was Onto one of the ones? Oh, Nokia. My thoughts on Nokia are probably faded. Although I think there was... Oh, wait, does Nokia have earnings this week? If they do, then I don't have them. Sorry, but I did see something. X Project Group shared something about Nokia in our Discord earlier today. That seemed pretty bullish. Seemed like I think Lockheed was maybe doing something with Nokia. I don't know. Let's look at TMDX. Yeah, let's look at TMDX. Strangles 110 and 90. A-Lab is looking up, but I am not going to get into it. TMDX, we got monthlies. What did I say? I said 110 and 90. We got 10 minutes. 110 looking like a mixed bag. Bought and sold. The 90p. Kind of a mixed bag too. Nothing really standing out. There's this big order, 500K from a few days ago. The 70p. TMDX has some weird put activity for sure. And look, there's not a lot of in the money calls going on for TMDX. And we do have some in the money put activity for TMDX. What was it, the 90? Let's look at the 90 contract chart. TMDX. Yeah, look at the puts have, I mean, you can see it right here. You can see the volume on the call side versus the volume on the put side. Well, those are in the money and out of the money, but either way, there's more in the money put activity. Just slightly more. Let's look at the ADP. That's not bad. This doesn't look too bad. I like the TMDX puts. I think you have to strangle it, but I like the TMDX put. What was the other one? Oh, Hinge. Was that one we wanted to look at? Oust. I feel like Oust was one we wanted to look at. I think I'm going to get that TMDX put. Oh, shoot. Not that. I'm going to get the 85p for TMDX and the 120 call. You guys can't see my phone, right? Okay, cool. I'll show you my brokerage. TMDX. I think downside looks better on TMDX though, for sure. $85p, and then let's do the call was the. I'm gonna go more than 115. The 120. I'll get the 120 call. All right, so I have a TMDX strangle. Just doing some portfolio maintenance. Okay, TMDX strangle I have. You guys don't have to follow me, obviously. Do whatever you want. 30 call for Alster. Oh, yeah, this is the one. Alst, 30 call. Do they have, yeah, 5.8, 30 call. That looks bullish to me. A lot bought. Not a lot of in the money put activity. And if there is, it's mainly sold. Alster looks up to me. There's a little bit of put activity, but I don't hate this 30 call at all. And there's a lot of volume in the 31 too. Let's look at that really quick. Hinge was the other one I wanted to look at too. We're gonna look at Hinge after this because I want to look at that. The 30 call for Alster. Nice and bullish. With the weekly. Yeah, I mean, I can see that candle turning green. Nothing really popping out to me on Ouster, but I think the call side looks okay. I just don't know enough about the company, and I'm kind of scared of it. Where's my mouse? Okay. Hinge. Let's look at Hinge next. I really like this one. Hinge Health, even though the narrative doesn't like it. 50 call for Hinge. 50 call, definitely bought. Look at that, 260K on the ask with the 50 call. And then they're buying the 35, well, 5,000 bucks on the 30, what is that, the 35p? I think I'm gonna get some Hinge calls. The 50 is expensive, but it's at the money. $5, so maybe it hits 55. I wish there was more liquidity on this 55. 60 is sold. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna do Hinge, but for what it's worth, I like the 55 is probably not bad. Let's look at it really quick. Look at the contract chart. If the contract chart looks cool, then maybe I'll get that. Robert, what you got today? What are you buying? Hinge. What does this 50 call look like? The 50 call is looking very bullish. RSI is a little hot, a little toppy. Not there though, it looks good there. I'm gonna fade that Hinge, I think. I like the fact that it's monthlies, but yeah, I don't like that daily candle. I don't like this declining RSI either, so I think that's a fade. So I'm gonna fade Hinge. 4 minutes. Anything else? What else did I see that I feel like there was at least one other thing I looked at that I wanted to look at it a little bit more. TLN. Do we want to look at TLN? We'll look at TLN. Let's look at TLN. Get out of here, Kamiko. TLN, was this one of the ones that had, okay, not bad. I mean, it's expensive, 390 and the 360 for TLN. 390, it's definitely bought. They're selling the 430 call. The 360 was the down, they're buying that too, but not nearly the same amount of liquidity on the call side. I think TLN up, but as close to the money as you can get. 3 minutes, I got 3 minutes. Was there no other thing I wanted to trade today? Blah, blah, blah. Mercy, no. Onto, no. TDC, no. NTMDX, Dave, SSRM, no. Celanese, no. Blah, blah, blah. DaVita, no. All of this, no, I think. Yep. Tempest AI is interesting, but no. There's just so many for today and tomorrow morning. Keep in mind, I mean, the whole week we have a lot of really good trades. BBL stock, no. We have a lot of really good trades for the whole week. So you're not allowed to have FOMO. Not allowed to have FOMO. There's too many. Too many. Groupon? Did I not even see Groupon? Yeah, I can't even type. Groupon's Thursday. All right, we got time for Groupon. Groupon's got a very high EL score, but we have time for that. Strategy, no. All right, I think I'm done. I don't think I'll be able to get anything in. Pause with just 2 minutes left, but yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow morning, NRG, blah, blah, Hut. Didn't even look at Hut. Man, this has been such a hot Bitcoin stock. Look at this. I mean, yeah, ton. This looks slow. 100 call looks sold, but interesting. Shark Ninja, no. Was the Shark Ninja one of them? No, that wasn't the one that had. I swear there was one more that had a ton of volume compared to small open interest, but I can't find it now. Oscar looking bullish. Was it JCI maybe? Nope. All right, I can't find it. I need to start writing this stuff down. There's just too many. But yeah, I got the TMDX strangle. If you guys got something, well, do we have earnings pick'em time? AMD, MicroStrategy. Let's go down, MicroStrategy. Go big or go home. I hate MicroStrategy. Okay, I think that's all we got because we got maybe like a few seconds until close. But yeah, I have the TMDX strangle. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope this stuff works for you because your guys' collaboration with me definitely helps me become a better trader. So I hope it's all good. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Pete, with Earnings Lottos Live. I will see you tomorrow afternoon about the same time. I'll try to get on a little earlier. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck tomorrow morning. Make some money. Peace, everyone.